Hello, I'm Janet Kaler, the MGEU's Director of Member Services and the 2021 Elections Chairperson. The MGEU operates throughout Manitoba and is located on the traditional territory of the Anishinaabe, the Anishinaabe, Innuit, Natuuk, Dakota, Dene, and Métis people. Our primary office is located on Treaty 1 territory and the homeland of the Métis Nation. Our work extends throughout Treaties 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 10. We acknowledge that Winnipeg's water is sourced from Shoal Lake 40 First Nation. We respect the treaties made on those territories. We dedicate ourselves to move forward with Indigenous communities in a spirit of reconciliation and collaboration to make Manitoba an accessible place for everyone who lives here. I want to thank everyone for coming to this evening's event. Before we begin, I would like to go over the MGEU expected conduct policy and procedures for all convention events, including this one. You may wonder how respectful conduct policy is relevant to a virtual event. To that, I would say two things. It's still important that we conduct ourselves in a respectful manner when speaking or appearing on screen during a virtual event. Two, we have seen at other conventions where delegates have engaged in disrespectful behavior toward other delegates on social media, and in particular in social media posts with the event hashtag. In your delegate booklet, on page 7, you'll see a copy of the MGEU Rules of Conduct. I'd like to take this opportunity to walk you through it. The MGEU is committed to maintaining a positive, safe, and healthy environment for all members and staff. Solidarity within our union is based on the principle that we are all equal and deserve mutual respect. Any behavior that's disrespectful, intimidating, hostile, or offensive will not be condoned or tolerated. This behavior includes, but it is not limited to, harassment on the basis of race, sex, age, ethnicity, religion, sexual orientation, and political belief, physical or mental abilities. If the member, staff person, or guest in the MGEU convention feels they have been disrespected, they should let the offending individual know that their conduct is unacceptable and unwelcome. If they don't feel comfortable talking with the offending individual or cannot resolve and require further assistance, please contact MGEU Director of Internal Operations, Jean-Guy Bourgeois, or MGEU's Director of Negotiations, Sheila Gordon. Jean-Guy and Sheila can be reached for this purpose during convention at conduct@mgeu.ca. This can also be found in your delegate booklet on page 11. In my role as an elections chair, I've received a question regarding the display of candidate promotional content during convention and related events. I'm issuing the following direction to candidates and other delegates on this question. In determining this direction, I've endeavored to stay as close as possible to the spirit and letter of both past practice and the written rules. As it relates to your delegate name, the delegate guide provides clear direction on how you should enter your name when logging into convention. All delegates are expected to adhere to this direction so that the delegate can be recognized appropriately by the chair. Delegates may not enter candidate promotional language into their name field. Clothing, buttons, personal accessories. During an in-person convention, delegates have always been permitted to wear t-shirts, scarves, buttons, and other clothing that displays promotional language or images in support of election candidates. This will also be permitted in our virtual convention for delegates on camera during the virtual convention. In terms of backdrops, during in-person conventions, posters are not permitted in the convention hall or even hotel. Similarly, during the virtual convention and related events, delegates may not display promotional language, images in support of election candidates on virtual or physical backdrops. As always, the MGEU logo may not be used in or on any promotional materials or items in support of election candidates. And as always, all campaign materials must comply with the respectful conduct policy. In a typical convention year, we have our all-candidate forum followed by a reception for all delegates to meet and mingle with all the candidates. Unfortunately, due to the pandemic, we've had to move our event to a virtual format, and we look forward to our next convention where we could do a little more mingling. I'd now like to take this opportunity to introduce Kevin Rebeck, Chair and Moderator of tonight's event. He, of course, does not need any formal introduction, but for those of you joining who are new to the labor movement, Kevin has been active in the labor movement for over 30 years. He was re-elected president of the Manitoba Federation of Labor for a fourth term in 2018. With Kevin as president, the MFL has successfully advocated for a number of progressive changes to Manitoba's laws and policies. In solidarity with the Manitoba labour movement and working people throughout the province, including making Manitoba the first province to provide paid leave for victims of domestic violence. Kevin has led the charge against the Pallister government's unconstitutional wage freeze law, including the Partnership to Defend Public Services court challenge. He also has been a vocal critic of the Pallister government's handling of the COVID-19 pandemic, including advocating for paid sick days and fighting back the government's plans to make drastic public sector cuts.
Thanks for that kind introduction. For those participants requiring transcription services, feel free to scroll down on your screen and Dots Connect. There's a Google document being created in real time by the right type that you can read along with this evening. And good evening, friends. Thank you for joining us. I'm glad you've all taken time out of your busy schedules to be here tonight to hear from each candidate running for provincial table officer positions for the MGEU. Elections will be on Thursday, October 21st, and this forum's a way to learn about the candidates and where each of them stand on various issues. We canvassed the delegates to see if anyone had questions that they'd like asked this evening, and we received a number of emails with suggestions, and I'm looking forward to an exciting evening. I'd like to quickly outline the process so everyone has an understanding of what to expect. There'll be 3 rounds or opportunities for each candidate to speak. In round 1, we'll ask each person for the same position to answer the same question, but we'll change the question for each position. Each candidate will have 1 minute to respond in that round. For round 2, we'll randomly ask the questions you've submitted, 1 question for each candidate to answer, and they'll get 1 minute to respond. And in their 3rd round and last chance to speak with you, they'll have 2 minutes to make some closing remarks and tell you a bit more about themselves. We've already drawn the order in advance for each position with the candidates earlier this evening, and we'll go in order, 1st, 2nd, 3rd as we drew. For the 1st round, in the 2nd round, we'll reverse that order, 3rd, 2nd, 1st, and in the closing remarks, we'll go back to the order that we drew. So, let's get on with it. We have 3 candidates running for the 4th VP position. As you may or may not know, this position can assume an area of responsibility or focus when they're successfully elected. I'm going to ask candidates to introduce themselves, tell us about their work and union experience, and share with us which standing committee they'd like to chair and why. So, we've already drawn, as I said. Shirley, we'll go to you first. If you can introduce yourself to the delegates, tell us about your work and union experience, and share with us which standing committee you would chair and why. Go ahead, Shirley. Oh, we've got to unmute her. There we go. The floor is yours.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I'm Shirley Russell. I'm a healthcare aide, work for Home Care and Interlake Eastern Regional Health Authority from Ericsdale. I serve on many committees within the union, including I chair our local 405. I'm Vice President of Area 5, acting chair at this moment, and on pension and benefits and finance committees, and co-chair workplace health and safety. I would like to continue to work with the pension and benefits committee if I am elected. How's that?
That was great, and you had time to spare. We'll see if any candidates learn how quickly their mic gets cut off if they go too long. Ed, you're next up, so if you can tell the delegates about your work and union experience and share with us which standing committee that you'd chair and why. Go ahead, Ed. Ed, can you hear me? Give a wave if you can. Oh, Ed has not joined the call yet. We'll just give him a moment there.
Hi, it looks like Ed doesn't seem to have sound yet, so hopefully we can get sound to him shortly.
Okay, we're just working on getting sound. Little technical difficulties. Got to tell you, I've been going to conventions for some time now, and there's these blindingly big, bright lights, and then you're looking out at this group of delegates that are kind of shadowy, and it's a pretty weird experience to have hundreds of people out there looking at you. So in COVID, we don't have that live experience of all those delegates, but instead I'm still in a room with bright lights shining at me, and then got a bunch of screens I'm looking at, and a whole bunch of great technicians that are doing a really great job for us, setting up a virtual convention for us in an environment that's keeping people safe and healthy and well, and I commend MGU for taking the steps to make sure to do that. All right, Ed, it sounds like we may have worked through the technical difficulties. If you have audio, you should be able to unmute and speak. I hope. Just waiting. Brother, are you, Brother Ed, have you joined our audio yet? Can you hear us? On the bottom right hand of your screen, there should be a little area you can click to join audio. If you can't hear me, though, that's not going to be the best message.
I don't believe Ed has sound just yet.
All right, well, I'm hoping our other candidates are getting ready and working through any of their tech challenges or issues. I'm hoping Ed can check the chat if he can't hear us yet. Checking the chat, we're sending a direct message to give you some advice. Okay. I think we're going to move on with Stephanie, and we'll see if we're able to come back to Ed once we work through the technical difficulties. So, Stephanie, if we can get you on screen and get you unmuted, then I'll ask you the same question. Please introduce yourself, tell us about your work and union experience, and which committee you would look to chair and why. The floor is yours.
Sure. Thank you, Kevin. My name is Stephanie Swain. I work for St. Amant in their community residence program. I'm a direct support worker there. As well, I chair the community-based social, I'm the director of the community-based social services component. I sit on the board of directors as the director of that. I chair the women's committee, sit on the Constitution, Bylaw and Structure Committee, the Risk and Strategy Committee. I have formerly chaired the Young Members Committee. As well, I'm a delegate to the Winnipeg Labour Council and am elected as one of their trustees there. So I do quite a bit and have quite a bit of experience. And the committee that I would choose if I'm elected is the Women's Committee. I took over partway through this term with that committee and have really enjoyed that work and would like to continue on with them. So I will cede my last 10 seconds.
Great, thank you, sister. I'll just check in quickly and see how our communication with our lost brother Ed is doing. Have we had any luck connecting? Looks like we may still be working through some technical difficulties. Hopefully someone's connecting with them by phone or chat to work that through.
I'm currently trying to get a hold of Ed via the chat, but I haven't got a response as yet.
Okay, so maybe we'll carry forward and play a little catch up with Ed if that's okay, which means I'm going to go back to Stephanie and I'm going to ask her a different question that will be unique to her. So Stephanie, my question for you is, what do you think our union needs to do more of, and how do we improve or address that need? So what do we think our union needs to do more of, and how do we improve or address that need?
Hi, yes, thank you for this question. Something that I always think our union needs to do more of is engaging more members. This was something that we worked really hard on when I was on the Young Members Committee and chaired that committee. Right now, our structure, it is what it is. It's great. We have all our standing committees. One member from each area gets elected to those committees. But the problem is when, we came across a lot on young members was there was a lot of young members that were really passionate, wanting to get engaged, but they didn't know what the place was for them. If they weren't on one of the standing committees, what do they do then? So I think that's something that we really need to have a hard look at is how are we making space for members to get engaged? Anytime we want to do any kind of campaigning or be out on strike, lobbying, we need that base there supporting us. And so we need to find room for them and ways to get them engaged and continue to be passionate and involved with their union. Thank you.
Great, thank you. All right, and I'm going to go to Shirley. Shirley, I have a unique question that's just for you as well. It was randomly selected. Shirley, how do you think our leadership should be accountable to the members they represent, and how can we strengthen communication and engagement? I'll say it once more, have you unmute, and then you can answer. How do you think our leadership should be accountable to the members they represent, and how can we strengthen communication and engagement?
Wow, what a question. I think we need to, we all have to be accountable for our actions. And to do that, we need to be able to talk to each other and share our concerns and bring forward issues so that as a leader, I can help people solve those issues and maybe make our union even stronger than it is now. And we need that. Thank you.
Great. Thank you. All right, I'll just check in once more. How are we making out with Ed? Any progress yet? If not, we'll go back to our two speakers, back in the order that we drew. And sorry, we have to disrupt that a little bit due to technical difficulties, but we'll work through it together.
It's
I'm going to go
Jason
back to
from
Shirley.
Dots.
You'll have 2 minutes for closing remarks, and you can let people know about why they should elect you and whatever information you'd like to share. The floor is yours. Okay, I'm told we're going to go to a break. We're just working through a few technical difficulties. We'll be right back. Great. Hello, folks, and welcome back. Sorry for that little pause. Bad news is we had a little bit of technical difficulty. If you're listening on live stream, I understand that folks couldn't hear the respondents' answers to the questions. They heard my asking, but they haven't heard the answers back. Delegates are on Zoom. On Zoom, the audio is working just fine for both, so we're not going to redo that, and we're working to fix the live stream for those of you who are joining in that way. Delegates, please make sure you're logged into Zoom and participating through that way. And we're still having a little trouble getting Ed on, so we will address that when I get news that we've resolved it. Otherwise, we're going to carry forward with where we left off. So we've asked a question of the candidates. We've asked a second question that was randomly drawn from ones you've submitted. And now we're going to go to both Shirley, then Stephanie, to give them 2 minutes to give their closing remarks, which could include them talking about their platform and why you should vote for them. We're going to go to Shirley first, as we drew. So Shirley, if we can get you queued up and unmuted. As soon as I see that unmute, the floor is yours, sister.
I think that part of my reason for doing this is that I think we need to make clear to our fellow members, no matter who they are, that we are all the union. Not just the provincial officers, but every one of us is the union. And I think that's something that a lot of members who are not active understand, that we all are the union. And if we don't speak out, then how does the union help us to be better? And I think it's through the last 24 years of being part of the union that I have found my voice, and I would encourage all members to find their voice, to be able to bring their issues forward, and I would be a voice for them. And that is why I'm trying to run for a provincial office, is I want to be able to share their issues and find solutions. That's why I'm here. Thank you very much.
Great, thank you, sister. Stephanie, we're going to go to you next. You have 2 minutes to make closing remarks and share what you will with our delegates. Oh, we need you. There you go. Unmuted.
Yeah,
Perfect.
sorry, I was just unmuting. As I've talked about in my opening, I have quite a bit of experience within our union and within the wider labor movement in Winnipeg and in Manitoba. On top of that, my schooling is in linguistics and cultural anthropology, and that really gave me training on viewing things from different perspectives, taking into account, the differences between people, and really having an open mind. And I really do feel that, that coupled with my vast experience chairing committees, chairing councils, being part of campaigns, all the other labor work I do, really makes me a good person for this role. I think that it's important that the people at the top of our union have a variety of experience and perspectives. And I think someone coming from the community-based social services side of things has been lacking at the top of our union. I feel like, as I said, my experience, I think that that could be a valuable voice at that level. I've loved all of the work I've done over my years through the union, and I've slowly been kind of, getting more and more experience. And I would love the opportunity to take on this new challenge. So thank you.
Great, thank you, sister. All right. We are going to move on from 4th VP. When we get Ed on, we will come back to him at an appropriate time during a transition between roles. But we'll move on to the 3rd VP. So we have 3 candidates running for 3rd VP. We're going to follow the same process. The first one to respond to the question I'm going to put to all 3 of them is Shelley. And Shelley, I'm going to ask you, can you tell us a bit about yourself and what your vision of education for MGEU going forward is, and why our education program is so important to our union?
Thanks, Kevin. Good evening, brothers, sisters, and friends, and thanks for giving me the opportunity to share with you. I've been the chair of the Membership Education Committee now since 2016. I've been involved with membership education since 2010. And the reason why we need an education program is that is one of the best ways to engage our members. We need to be able to have education that draws our members in, wants them to become activists, teaches them the skill set that they need to have to help defend their members, to work with their members, to support them. And we need to continue to enhance our education program, continue to look at what we're offering, make sure that what we are offering is meeting the needs of our members, meeting the needs of the activists, and allowing our members to really feel confident and comfortable in doing the best to the best of their ability to represent their members and work with them to ensure that their collective agreements are being followed. Thanks.
Great. Thank you, sister, and great use of time, right down to the wire. Our next candidate is Cris. Cris, can you tell the candidates a bit about yourself, your vision for education for MGEU, and why our education program is so important to our union? Oh, do we have Cris? While we sort out the answer to that question, I'm being told we do now have Ed, but we'll wait till we're done with the third VP positions, and then we'll jump to Ed before we move on to the second VP. So Cris, I'm just checking.
Video.
Cris, do you have audio?
Hi there.
Oh, there we are. I hear you now.
Okay.
Okay,
Good.
the floor is yours if you'd like to tell delegates about yourself and why education is so important in our union.
Why education is important. I think it's the cornerstone of any union movement. Without knowledge about what your obligations are as a union member, what your expectations are to advocate for yourself and advocate for others, then there's no movement. And I think that education needs to start from day one. The minute a person comes on as a hire, we need to figure a way to get to them before the employer does, so that they know what they can and cannot do, and not allow the employer to take advantage of them. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, sister. And now I'll call on Penny. We'll see if we can get her on screen and getting ready to unmute. Give them a moment. There we go. So Penny, if you can tell the delegates a bit about yourself and about your vision for education in MGEU going forward, and why the education program is so important for our union. Oh, we haven't unmuted you. You're not unmuted yet, sister. There we go. We're starting the clock fresh.
Good evening. Hi, everyone. I work as a senior adjuster for Manitoba Ag Services Corporation. I'm also a counselor for the arm of West Interlake. I'm currently the president of Area 5, Local 362. In the past, I was on the Women's Committee for 2 consecutive terms. I was the Women's Rep to Manitoba Federation of Labor. I've been Workplace Health and Safety Co-Chair for 4 terms consecutive. Education, I don't believe the education has been hitting the needs of the membership. It's important for our union because it gives us the knowledge to help us make informed decisions as a union. Education is the key to success, and without it, there's no union. While I believe you're asking me for an opinion, I don't think the world has changed by your opinion. It's changed by our example. And my example would be to lead the union with the union, not as my opinion. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Penny. I'm going to come right back to you, Penny, and I've got a unique question that's just for you, randomly drawn. So my question for you is, we represent workers in a variety of sectors, and at times some groups feel they're left out or unheard. How can our union ensure our wide membership is connected to our leadership, and what are your suggestions to strengthen that connection?
Again, I don't believe it's our place to bash what is or isn't really happening. I personally have found with my group, our needs are not being met. They do not feel heard because we're small. We're not a big component. We're not in a big group. We're just small, and we just don't seem to meet what is required to be in the cool kids group. So we fall through the cracks. And I don't want to see anyone fall through the cracks. I think everybody's important and every one of us matters, whether you're in a component or your sector is big or small, whether you're big in the province or you're little, we're all just as important and everybody needs representation. United we stand, divided we fall is more than a saying, it's the truth. And I want to see us go back to what we should be, being stronger together.
Great, thank you, sister. I'm going over to Cris now. Cris, I've got a question that's just for you as well. Your question, let me just, is what about the labor movement has been influential to you and motivated you to run for a provincial officer position?
I suppose the mental health campaign that has been very instrumental as of late. Having had some experiences firsthand with family who were injured in the workplace, that made it very passionate. I wanted to not allow anyone else to endure the same suffering, and it caused me to not just sit silent, to actually come out and get involved deeply. And unfortunately, earlier my mic wasn't working, so I couldn't say where I work, but I work with people with disabilities and I see the marginalization and I see the abuses, and that stuff has to stop. Too many people are getting ill and too many people are leaving, and we need to keep them healthy and safe and with us. Thank you.
Great, thank you, Cris. Shelley, that brings us back to you. And our question for you this evening is, what do you think our union's greatest strength is, and how can we leverage that strength to do more for our members?
Our union's greatest strength is our members. And so we need to be able to reach out to our members so that they are heard, that their issues are heard, and that they feel that they're not only heard, but that their issues have been addressed. Sometimes members have expectations of unions that are higher than what we can achieve, but we need to try and reach out and communicate with them and let them know this is what the union is about. This is what we stand for. This is who we are. Let's stand with you, stand beside you, walk with you through this issue, and really reach out to those members and ensure that the members who have not felt that they've been heard, have not felt that they're engaged, have not felt important, have that opportunity to reach out and have their needs met too, because the union is the sum of its members. We're the sum of our experiences. We need to bring all of that to the table, and we need to bring all those members to the table so that they can be heard and that their needs can be met.
Thank you, Shelley. Now we'll move on to closing remarks for our candidates for 3rd VP, and we're going back to the order we drew originally. So right back to you, Shelley. You have 2 minutes to share what you will with the delegates. The floor is yours.
Thank you very much. Really what I want to say, and in my introduction, I didn't mention where I work either. I work for Employment and Income Assistance, so I also see a lot of marginalized people. I work in a rural area, so I see the struggles and the issues that are the citizens of our province and our members have when there is a lack of resources available in rural areas and we have to drive long distances to have our needs met to receive those services. We need to be able to fight against this government and any government who is putting pressure on our members and not allowing our members to do the work that we have been hired to do, not allowing us to reach out and help others and preventing us from doing that because we're fighting for our own existence. We see how things happened with the pandemic and members were scared of losing their jobs and not having that income to meet the needs of their families. We really need to be able to reach out and support each other and look after each other and help each other. Cris, like Cris said, the mental health campaign is really important to really reach out to our members and let them know that the union is hearing them, is listening to them, is trying to encourage them, is trying to help them, is trying to educate them on the issues that are important to them so that they really have that opportunity to not just strive to exist, but thrive and really live life to the fullest and have that opportunity. And that's part of who we are as a union. It also gives us that opportunity to speak out passionately on issues that impact us and that affect us, whether it's in the political field, whether it's in our day-to-day life, whether it's just having a conversation with a coworker and standing with them and helping them and being there for them. And it's really important that we all pull together, that we draw together, and that we take this opportunity to really fight for what we need and to make sure that we are standing together in that. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Shelley. Cris, we're going to go to you next. We have 2 minutes of closing remarks, so you can share whatever you'd like to with the delegates. The floor is yours.
Thank you again. Delegates, I just want you all to know that regardless of which candidate you select, I think we're all here for the right reasons. We want to help. We want to give back to our communities, especially to our union sisters and brothers and everyone that's working alongside of us in the trenches. I am passionate about education. I teach individuals from the age of 5 right up to adulthood, and I understand the difficulties that everyone has, as well as the importance of just being there, being united, having someone looking after you and someone protecting you, someone wanting to ensure that you're going forward in your career, healthy and passionate about what you're doing, and making sure that you have a long career and that you're not running away from the jobs that you have today simply because it isn't a healthy place to be. And the people that are making decisions are harming you and others alongside of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Cris. And that brings us to Penny. Penny, you have 2 minutes for closing remarks. The floor is yours. Oh, you double hit your mute button, so it's muted again.
It
There you go.
won't go off.
You got it.
I don't think we should be placing the blame on the pandemic or the government. Governments come and governments go. I'm part of the government right now, and whether I would be elected in the next election is here. We don't know. There's always someone to blame. I think we need to look inside and fix what's broken. We need to be stronger together, not divided in little groups. I want you to know I would be your voice. I would be transparent. I would be humble and function as part of a whole, not on my own. And I would represent all groups and all peoples. I think we need to work stronger together. I say it's time to take our union back and for everyone to work together. The infighting needs to stop.
All right, thank you, Penny, and thank you, candidates for 3rd VP. We do have Ed ready now. We've got you sorted out, brother. So glad your audio is working. You've missed hearing your opponent's remarks, but we'll go to you now. So I'm going to ask you your first question, and that's, can you introduce yourself and tell delegates about your union and work experience and share which standing committee you would chair and why?
Okay, welcome. I have been a liquor worker in the Portage La Prairie store for the past 40 odd years. I serve beverage alcohol in a safe and responsible manner. If given the opportunity, I would return to my committee, the pension and benefits. I feel that I've been here for close to 20 years now, whether a chair or just a member. I also sit on the SILK committee, which is Superannuation Liaison Committee. And I belong to the negotiation team for that as well. So I'm well versed in what is was happening in that committee. I have the experience to continue to assist in that committee to continue to bring new possibilities of insurance benefits, claims of any sort back to the members. So that's where I will be putting my attention towards, is the Pension and Benefits Committee. Thank you.
Great, thank you, brother. We're going to keep the camera on you, and we'll go to the unique question that's just for you. That's membership turnout to meetings and events has been declining over time. How can we get people out to meetings and events or otherwise grow our activist network?
That has really affected me. I'm a very community-minded individual. I like to be around people. I like to see and hear what they have to say, and that really affects me. Now, how do we do that? It's very difficult with this virtual life. I'm not considerably comfortable with it, as you probably have noticed. But to bring people together, we may have to go to different venues, whether it's the virtual or just into meetings where you have a larger area that you can accommodate those people and still be together. I believe in the abilities of all members getting together to be a brotherhood, sisterhood, and to continue to work together and actually see each other and feel that there is a bond between members that will continue to grow and add to what we have in our union. Thank you.
Great, thanks, Ed. And we're staying with you, so we've got 2 minutes for you to give closing remarks and let delegates know what you'd like.
Okay, I wish to thank all the delegates that have given their valuable time for this convention. And I also wish to thank the nominators and the candidates for putting their name forward and standing for these positions and all the work that they have done up to now. I wish to plead with all the unsuccessful candidates to continue with the dedication that they have shown. We need these people with our drive and a vision to make our union, our lives, our families better. And we really need to come together as a group as well and continue to press forward. And we need the people that are coming forward because they are going to be our leaders. In years' time, I may not be here, but we need these younger folks coming into it and showing the same desire and drive that I've had in the past 40 years. And I hope that they will continue to progress and come back again next convention. I may not be here, I may, but I still wish them the best. And please, please continue to come forward, support your members, your areas, your opponents, and continue with your hard work. And I'd like to say thank you, merci, and miigwech.
Thank you, Ed. And that concludes our 4th VP candidates. So next up would be our 2nd VP candidates. That's the position responsible for finance. We have only one nominated candidate for that, and that's Doug. So Doug has opted not to go through the 2 questions, but we certainly want to give him his 2 minutes to address delegates and share with them a little bit about himself. Doug?
Thank you, Brother Rebeck. My name is Doug Troke. I first of all want to thank everyone for their faith in me over the last term, and looking forward to the next term. My regular day job, I am an accountant. I'm an auditor with Manitoba Finance, and I do audit a number of acts under that are managed under the Manitoba Finance. I've been my local president for over 10 years. I've been on the finance committee since 2008. I have been the 2nd VP since 2016. I sit on the Civil Service Pension Board and the Silk Committee along with Brother Ed. And I am also a benefits trustee for the Retirees Blue Cross plan. And if I had any spare time, I'm also a counselor in the RM of Boys Vein Morton. So I do see that the finance side of things is very important to our union. We need to make sure that we have the funds available to take on whatever challenges come in the next years, and there will be challenges. And I pledge that that we will be there to support our activists, and I look forward to working with whichever candidates are successful. And I think we have a great slate of candidates here, and I wish the best of luck to all of them. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Doug. All right, we will move on to first vice president. So we have 3 candidates running for first vice president. They have a responsibility for the Constitution, and they serve on the MFL and on the NUPG executive board. So we've determined the speaking order, and first up will be William. And what I'm asking everyone who's running for this role is, can you share with us a bit about your experience and how you will play a leadership role on constitutional matters?
Absolutely. Hello, everyone. My name is William Whyte, and some of my experience, well, let's see, in a leadership capacity prior to my work as a correctional officer, which I've done for the last 24 years, I was an officer in the Canadian Armed Forces. During this time, I've taken on a number of different leadership roles, whether it's within corrections as a supervisor or as a project manager. I'm also the vice president and treasurer of the Manitoba Peace Officer Memorial Foundation, which was designed to create a permanent memorial for fallen peace officers. But working with labor and firefighter, we created a permanent memorial that honors every single Manitoban killed on the job here, and it's live and it's in Winnipeg. Leadership is something that's not everyone can do. It's something that you kind of have to take on and step up and do. And it's something that I've consistently done over the years. Working with everyone at the union, not just my friends, but everyone. We need to make our union strong again. We need proper leadership, and I hope that's what I'm going to do.
Great. Thank you, William. Next up is Charlotte. Charlotte, can you share your experience and how you'll play a leadership role on our constitutional matters? Oh, there you go.
Sorry, my mouse wasn't cooperating. So I'm Charlotte McWilliams. I am currently the standing orders at the Brennan Correctional Center. I've been doing this job for, I think, about 10 years now. And basically what that does is I go through and interpret legislation, collective agreements and different acts and all that stuff to make plain language instructions for staff to follow. I've also done the Harbour Trade Union School and the Leadership School, and I do what I can to educate myself, because the more educated I am, the better I am to assist all of you guys. As far as my leadership with the Constitution, I still think we have a lot of work that we need to do with the Constitution. I know there's some outstanding issues that I would like to still tackle. Sorry. Okay, you know what? My mind just went blank. I apologize. I'm good.
Okay. Thank you, sister. We'll go on to Scott. Scott, can you share a bit about your experience and how you'll play a leadership role with our constitutional matters?
Sure, thank you very much. This is a really hard question to answer in just a minute, so you may hear me come back to it in my 2-minute wrap up. I've been a provincial officer of this union from 2012 to 2016. And I want to hit on a few key issues here. One thing is the leadership when it comes to the MFL and NUPCI. We have become very divided as a labor movement in Manitoba, specifically from the representation votes and how those were conducted. And I think that is a hugely important thing that we need to do. We need to reconnect with the other unions, and we need to become another happy house of labor, because we have a lot of challenges, specifically to the Constitution. I will treat the Constitution like the important document that it is, which is a rule book and not a guideline, which is kind of how it's been treated for the last little while. We have a lot of work that COVID has shown us. There were a lot of openings in that document that need to be fixed up, and I would do that with the committee during my time. I'm probably going to come back to this. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Scott. Well, we'll stay with you, and we'll go to a unique question just for you. My question for you is, although we're a nonpartisan union, we are under political attack. How should our union defend our members and the public service?
Absolutely. Thank you for asking that question. And I love that question, because while being a nonpartisan union, we do have the right to defend ourselves against any government, be it NDP or PC, who attacks our members and is not good for our members. One of the key areas we need to defend ourselves is at the bargaining table, which is one of the things that the first vice president does. You are the chair of the civil service bargaining team. And we need to get more aggressive. We need to get more creative in the way we bargain this contract, because we can't let it sit for 3 years. And we can't let the government just dictate what we do. The other thing we need to do is we need to re-engage with the community, and we need to re-engage with labor. You often find in struggles like this throughout history that great gains are made when we have unlikely friendships. So when you bring other groups in and coalitions in. We need to be loud about who we are. We need to be proud about who we are. We can't simply stick our heads in the sand and try to avoid this government. We are under attack. We do need to defend ourselves, and we need to be strong and vocal while we do so.
Thank you, brother. Charlotte, I'm going to move back to you now. And my question for you is, what do you see as the most important issue our unions should focus on today and over the next 2 years?
Thank you for that question. I kind of see it as a twofold. I see we have external issues that we need to focus on. I know I'm probably repeating a lot of stuff, but I know we're dealing with privatization. We're dealing with bargaining, just as Scott had said. You know, the civil service did take a different approach this term when it came to negotiating. The other thing is a lot of staff are dealing with staff shortages or government managing, trying to manage the workplaces with vacancy management. That's what I'm trying to say. So we definitely need to address those, I think, are the critical issues. But the other thing I think internally that we need to deal with in our constitution is quorum. So the last couple of conventions, quorum has become an issue. We had started to do some work on it, but everything kind of went sideways there. So, and the other issue I think is member engagement. I mean, we've heard a little bit about it today, and I definitely think that's another focus that we.
Great. Thank you, sister. And that brings us back to William. And my question for you is, what new tactics do you think our union should engage in to challenge the government's privatization plans, such as liquor privatization?
Good question. You know what? I think one of the things that we do really well is we connect with our membership and we throw information out there for them to be able to make informed decisions. I don't think we're that good when it comes to the public. The reality is governments know that they're taking an adversarial front with us. That's their job. They're going to take us on as an adversary. They know that their ultimate answer is going to be to the general public. What I think we need to do is figure out ways to better engage with the general public. Let them know the importance of unions. Let them know the importance between the difference of privatization and public utilities and branches like Liquor Mart. If the public truly understands why privatizing liquor is wrong and the problems it'll create, then they'll tell their constituents, they'll tell their government agents that this is not something that they want to do. We just have to figure out a way to properly connect with people and make sure that they understand the same things that we do, and then watch government change. It'll be a whole different story.
Great, thank you very much, and we'll stay with you, Will. We're going to move on to closing remarks, so you have 2 minutes to talk to delegates about why they should vote for you.
Yeah, you know, this is probably one of the hardest things that I've ever done. One, I don't like tooting my own horn, and second, I'm talking to a screen. I see my face. I see boxes with little names on it. I'm much better connecting with actual humans and meeting actual people. Why I think you should vote for me. There is nothing wrong with Charlotte. There's nothing wrong with Scott. I know that people have texted me saying that there's an awful lot of COs running for these positions and it's a bit intimidating. That's a good thing. Correctional officers, by and large, we stand up for what's right. We stand up against bullies. We put up the fight. That's what we do. So having 3 COs running for this position is a good thing ultimately for you guys. What I bring to the table is this. I have years of experience in the military. I have years of experience in corrections. I have years of experience dealing with multiple agencies on multiple fronts. But the one thing that I really, truly believe in is this union. I truly believe in the people that are in this. I believe that working together, actually going out, meeting people face to face, shaking their hands, listening to the stories, acknowledging their concerns, joining them in their celebrations, taking the time to listen to everyone, because let's face it, every local matters. That's why we're in a union. Let's reconnect with everybody. Let's sit down and listen to what's being said, not just the good stuff that's out there. I want to hear from the people that are angry. I want to hear from the people that are disconnected. I want to hear from the people that don't want to be in their union anymore, because those are the people that we need to reconnect with and get them back on board. Our union can be the most strongest, powerful thing this province has ever seen. We can shake the foundations of the government if we pull together. Thank you.
Thank you. Charlotte, we'll head over to you now, and you have 2 minutes to make your closing remarks to the delegates.
Great, thank you. I'd like to start out also as well to thank everyone for taking the time to attend this forum and submitted questions for us to respond to. It's really important that when you guys are here, because this is what helps make our union strong, is when people are invested in our union. And I'd also like to say thank you to all the candidates to run up here, because as you know, it's not easy standing in front and exactly like Will said, talking to a blank screen. And it takes a lot of courage to be able to stand up and do this stuff. So currently I'm the first vice president. I'm looking to be reelected. And we kind of touched on a little bit where my mind kind of froze, and we talked about, you know, the Constitution. The Constitution is our heart of our union, in where it does set out the rules on how we operate and all that kind of stuff. It's a product that has a lot of our history embedded in it, and it's also a document that is ever evolving, and it evolves because of you, the membership. When you guys get involved, and this Constitution applies to absolutely everybody, in whether you're a small local, whether you're a large local, and everybody has a buy-in into this document, because anybody can put in a resolution, people can debate the issues on a convention floor, and people can make change in that format. And I think that's very critical, because that's what sets our direction and tells the union what direction we need to go. As far as myself, I've always made myself available to all of you to be there for you. I try to attend as many meetings as I can. It's usually on my own time. You can be seeing me carpooling with people. And I do that because to me, that's accountability and accessibility. It gives you an opportunity to sit there and ask me questions, and to provide, and I provide the answers. And darn it, I'm running out of time. Thank you.
Nice wrap up. Scott, we're back to you. You have 2 minutes to address the delegates, starting now, or as soon as you hit.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, for those of you who don't know, like I said before, my name is Scott Cloney. I am a proud member of Area 7 Corrections. Why you should vote for me? I guess the reason I'm going to put out there, and you're going to hear me talk probably way too much over the next couple of days to the point where you're tired of my voice, is I have a lot of high-level experience. I'm not talking about things I think I can do. I'm talking about things I have done and I know I can do. I've previously been a provincial officer of this union. I have been a staff member of this union. And when I say we need to fight this government, I know because I spent my working career for almost 4 years fighting this government. This is not a time where it's not a popularity contest. It's not about who you like more. It is about who can be effective and get something done. I have a proven history of doing that. A lot of the things we talk about, we take for granted. I started committees having meetings outside of Winnipeg. I was one of the first provincial officers back when I was elected to start actually showing up during non-political season at meetings. Me and Stephanie and a lot of other people who are on this call, we worked hard to create space for young members in this union. This is a real time when we need to get things done. Our constitution and our bargaining need to be revamped, and they need to be treated with the respect they have. This is not something we can take lightly. This is not something that we can play around with. This is the time to get things done. Like the other two, Charlotte and Will, I have known for years. I have great things to say, especially about Will. There's a video on my Facebook page. I hope you go look about where I tell a story about how great Will is. Long story short is we'll talk more. There's a lot of work to be done. I can get it done for you. I want to fight for you. Please let me fight for you. Thank you. In solidarity. Have a good night.
Thank you. All right, that concludes our closing remarks for the first VP. I get a couple of notes while I'm up here, and there's one I'm being told to say at the very end, but I know I have all your attention right now, so I think I'll say it now and say it again at the very end. And that's, if you're a delegate please don't be going to the live stream on the MGU website. You should be using your credentials to log in to convention proceedings on Dots Connect, and to please log in 15-30 minutes early. That lets you iron out any technical difficulties and test your audio and visual. You can always turn your camera off and mute and do a few other things rather than be scrambling at the last minute. So please make sure you do that. I'll remind everyone once more at the end after our presidential candidates. So we are on to our presidential candidates. We've randomly determined the order, and Kyle will be the first one to respond to the question. That is, Kyle, can you tell us about how your experience and your vision prepares you for this role, and what your vision for MGU is into the future? Oh, I think we've got you on.
No, I muted my handset. Hey everyone, I'm Kyle Ross. How I feel I'm prepared for this road. Well, currently I'm an analyst with MPI, and my job at MPI is to solve problems and to look at every angle and how we do this. In our union, we're basically just solving problems for people. And we have many problems and many issues with this government. We have to find other ways to solve these problems, and inventive ways and new ways. And there's new technology and there's things we're not using as a union that we should be using. I really think that with some future vision, besides looking term to term as we've been lately, where every elected leader is looking just to be elected next term, we have to look in a 5-year vision and be a lot smarter about what we do and how we spend our money. That's why I think I'd be a good leader for this union. Thank you.
Thank you, Kyle. We'll go on to Dylan. Dylan, if you can tell us about how your experience has prepared you for the role and what your vision for MGU is into the future.
Thank you. My experience, I spent 25 years as a strong union activist. I grew up in Southern Ontario, where unions are quite strong. And, I think as you get closer to Quebec, they get stronger. And as you move away from Quebec, they get a little bit softer. And I found that when I came to Manitoba. I think the problems that we have here is our solidarity, to be quite honest with you. I think a lot of people talk about solidarity and talk about being strong and there for each other. But when it comes down to it, they unfortunately have other things to do, and they're ambivalent to the union movement when it comes time to, hit the road. Moving forward, I would like to bring that solidarity back. I would like to bring it back to where, when the bell is rung, that people will show up and they will stand up and they will fight for what's right. And I think that'll be for the betterment of all Manitobans. Thank you.
Thank you, brother. And now, Michelle, can you tell us about your experience and your vision for the MGU going forward?
Just trying to get on mic there. Yes, my vision for the future, and of course, people know my history, where I've come from, and I see the vision as continuing on in the direction we have been going. There's been a lot of learning curves as we go. There's been hiccups on the road. We have a fantastic board of directors that is out there that gets elected to represent all of the folks across all of the province, and working with them, working with the risk and strategy committee on actually identifying the real risks of today, not hypothetical, but the real ones, and making sure that we can address them as a board, as a whole. And that has been one of the benefits, having the experience and having the knowledge, and most of all, having the ability to listen to the members themselves, to be able to listen to you on what the issues are, what you need us to do, and to know the comfort level of our membership as well, and how strong they feel the day that they need to stand up. That's what I see as our vision to continue.
Thank you, sister. We're going to stick with you, Michelle, and we have a unique question for you, submitted by delegates. Bill 28 has never been proclaimed. As president, how will you move forward negotiating fair wage increases with this government? Oh, you're on mute, sister.
Thank you for that, brother. Working forward under the guise of the Bill 28 or the threat of Bill 28, of course, we've done it now for years, working with the PDPS and all the other 29 unions that we have been working with. Our solidarity is very, very strong across our province, and it shows in the bargaining that we do and the ability that we have to be able to use the tidbits and the articles within our collective agreements. The members themselves have brought those forward. The strength of our civil service bargaining, for instance, that collective agreement is not 5 years old. It is decades old, and it has the experience, the knowledge, and the expertise of all of the members over the years. And we know how to ebb and flow as we need to, and we would continue that as we move forward. And again, listening to the members, going back out again, whether it's through virtual, whether it's through a phone call, whether it's FaceTiming on Facebook. We've all done this.
Thank you, sister. All right, we'll head over to Dylan now. Dylan, the question we have submitted for you is, as many of the MGEU members work for the government, and we know how unfriendly some governments can be to unions, it's still important that there's a good or fair working relationship with them. Can you please tell me what your experience has been working with political parties and their leaders, and/or what would be your approach to do so?
I think what we need to really address in our workforce and our workplaces is harassment and bullying. In my workplace, I don't want to say that it is terrible, but there is bullying and there is harassment that happen. And I think that we need to address this. And I think politically, I think that the Healthy Minds campaign that we have going on with the MGEU is a great first step. It addresses the trauma that a lot of these bullies have on our workforce. I would continue to work with public officials within government. I think taking our concerns to them, putting them on record, not being afraid to speak up about these events, I think is important, and I think that would make for a better workplace in the future. Thank you.
Great, thank you, brother. And now we'll go to Kyle. Kyle, your unique question is, with Manitoba having a new premier following the PC leadership race, what's the top issue you will raise in your first meeting with the new premier as president?
I think the top issue we need to raise with the new premier would be privatization. They've already said that they're interested in revisiting Bill 40 with the alcohol and liquor and lotteries, and I come from a Crown as well, and we also another issue we have to discuss is Bill 28 and bargaining. The bargaining has gone cold, and our members, the only advance we have is to go to arbitration right now, and we have to find better ways and bargain fair deals, because it's unfair to our members right now to expect us to take zeros for no other reason than we said so. And I think we have to do this through an honest communication with them and be respectful, because they have their views and we have ours, and we have to find some middle ground and work on that relationship. Even though they don't like us, they're still there and challenging us, and we have to challenge them back. And I think if we get our members together to push back a little, we'd have a good chance at it. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Great, thank you, but don't go too far. We're now on the closing remarks section for our presidential candidates. And Kyle, we're back with you for 2 minutes.
Hi, everyone. It's me again, I guess. If you want more information about me, I have a website, votecarros.com. A lot of my ideas are there. So if you haven't looked on there yet, please do. And there's opportunities there to reach out to me. So if you want to have any questions or not, I greatly appreciate the questions. I have previously our Michelle said risk and strategy. She talks about that committee. That committee hasn't called a meeting in over a year and a half, which she chairs, and by constitution is supposed to be called before every board meeting. So the risks were dealt with not by the risk and strategy committee, and maybe that's why we're partly in this scenario right now. I think we really have to look at how we do things at the MGEU. Our constitution hasn't been used the way it should be, hasn't been followed, and now we're running into issues. We're a year late on our convention. We may have been able to do this a year ago. It is online. The technology hasn't changed in a year. I really think we have to look at what we do as leaders. And I'm a leader that expects people to challenge me. If you think I'm wrong, I expect you to tell me. I don't ask you, I expect it. I want to know why you think I am wrong, and I will listen, and you will move me probably, because if you have a good point, I accept it. And I think that's things we need in our union. We need to challenge each other and work together, but be honest with each other and not make it personal, because it's not. We're all trying to do the best for this union. That's all I want, is the best for this union. And that's why I put my name forward for president, because we really need to be better at this time. This government is walking on us and we're not pushing back. And that's what I really feel we need to do. Thank you for your time, but we can't, I got more to say. We actually can't push back until we get organized. And that's one big part of is communication and organization. We have to get our members involved, and that's rank and file activists. Currently, we only have half our activist numbers filled of all the eligible activists. And I really feel that's one place we really have to put a focus on. Thank you for your time.
Great. Thank you, brother. Dylan, we have 2 minutes closing remarks for yourself. The floor is yours.
Thank you. Good evening, my friends. I'd like to thank you all for coming out, as democracy is the backbone of our union. My name is Dylan, and I'm a correctional officer, as well as many of the other candidates that are running for election here. I've been an activist for over 25 years, first with the CAW, and then the Teamsters, and now a correctional officer within the MGEU. I've served the executive of the corrections component for over 9 years, first as the vice president, and then the chief steward, in the last 5 years as a local president. I've been elected as component director for the last 5 years. I stand before you today fighting for all of our rights. It's not a popularity contest, it's our lives, and I've shown consistently over the years that I'm in this for all. During my many years, I've fought for workers' rights and protections. I spearheaded the Trauma-Informed Care Committee. This committee laid the groundwork for many initiatives, such as Road to Mental Readiness, peer support in all correctional institutions, and has angled us for bargaining to achieve mental health supports for all officers. I wish to continue this fight through the MGEU, through their campaign that they have started with the mental health, Road to Mental Readiness, sorry. I've stood toe-to-toe with the vision on numerous occasions, and I will do so moving forward. This government is a government that has shown time and time again that they are looking to bust unions and knock us down. And I think with our resolve after this convention, the unity that we will all show and have for each other will stand to show this government that we are not to be walked on. Thank you very much.
Thank you, brother. And Michelle, we'll head over to you now. 2 minutes closing remarks. The floor is yours.
All right. Thank you, brother. First, I want to say a huge thank you to all of the delegates, all of the folks that have taken up your time this evening. Appreciate you giving us and sharing it with us to be part of this. I have enjoyed working with everyone over the past several years, and I do look forward to continue working for you and with you over the next few. We've worked hard together. It hasn't always been easy the past couple of years, and Pallister and pandemic always come to mind for me when I think of that. But protecting you, ensuring you as members are safe and secure in your jobs as much as you can be, and making sure that you are not wearing a target on your back. That is what you elect your president to do. That is what you elect your board members, is to be out there and have your back and understand what's going on. And I'm very, very proud to be working with a great board of directors, and I would like to continue to do so. As I say, I know that I've got the knowledge, the experience, the energy to continue working with you, for you. And with that, I say, take care, stay safe. Thank you. Merci and Medwich. Take care all, and to thank you for all of the candidates that have put their names forward. This is not an easy thing to do, but we need to be out there making sure that we've got the experience and the knowledge needed to be able to carry us through the next few years. Thank you.
Thank you, sister. I'll echo those remarks. I admire all the candidates' decorum this evening and being respectful in their responses. It's a brave thing to put your name forward, and I commend all you for doing so. I want to thank the delegates as well for their patience as we sorted through some technical difficulties. Hopefully that'll be the end of them, but I know you'll give us your patience if we face any more. I want to thank you for attending this evening's event. I'll encourage you to refer to the candidate's profile in your delegate booklet on page 151 or on the MGE website. If you have other questions, you can contact the candidates directly through their campaign addresses or websites and their profiles. And I want to give you a reminder again, if you are a delegate, Please don't go to the live stream on the MG website. We're still sorting through all that. But please use your credentials to log into convention proceedings on Dots Connect. Another reminder, please log in 30 minutes beforehand, iron out any technical issues you may be facing, test your audio and visual, know that it's good so that you're not missing any of convention. With that, I hope you all have a great evening and a great convention in the coming days. Take care.